building something.
All right. Preach, Pastor.
When you're building something and you want it to stay intact,
Yeah.
you nail it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you just tie something, it's understood that it is a temporary connection. But by nailing it to the cross, by nailing it, you say, I want this to stay here and not come apart.
Sure enough.
Why do they nail it to the cross? Because he was taking our sins in his body and he took it and he nailed it permanently to the cross. So it says he canceled the record of the charges against us and took it away by nailing it to the cross. Meaning that I don't have to go back and deal with the past because Jesus paid it all.
Sure enough.
I don't have to go back and try to make restitution for what I can't fix because Jesus paid it all.
Yes, God.
I don't have to go back and try to change my history because Jesus paid it all.
Glory.
I don't have to go back and try to relive it because he paid for it. He paid for it.
Thank you, God.
I don't have to deal with the penalty because he paid for it.
Thank you, Jesus.
So then Jesus makes another declaration. He says, but I am the resurrection. He says, I'm not just going to be resurrected. He says, I am the essence of that resurrection. When Martha responds, she said, we've heard about the resurrection. They're talking about her brother Lazarus. He said, Master, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Jesus said, well, he's not dead. He's going to live. She said, yeah, but I know about the resurrection. I know we'll see him in the resurrection, but I'm saying that he wouldn't have died today. He said, Martha, listen to what I'm saying. I am the resurrection.
I am the resurrection.
The essence of resurrecting, the understanding of resurrecting is going to rest in me. John chapter 11, verse 25, he says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, watch this, he shall live again. See, the hope that a believer has is that if I happen to die, if I die today, I'll live again. Why? Because that's the promise of the one who is resurrection. Not just the one who was resurrected, but he is the resurrection. But he also declared that I am the life. I am the resurrection and I am the life. In John chapter 14, verse 6, he said, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. This is important because there's much to be said about anymore that Jesus has been relegated to be just one. Christianity has been relegated to be just one of the religions of the world. And that Jesus is one of the gods of the world. First and foremost, why would he suffer so hard to just be in the crew?
Yeah.
If he's just going to be one of them, why would he do so much? Because no other founder of a religion has suffered or even given himself like Jesus.
Teach it, Pastor. Teach it.
No other. You can go and study. We did a whole study. We studied 17 religions in the teaching that I did. And not a single religion starts with the one who's the leader, the first teacher, the founder, giving himself for those that will believe. Every one of them, as Jesus declared, he said, listen, everyone that's come before me, they've been hirelings. They were coming to get something. They were coming to get something out. And if you go back and study history, you'll find out that every other religion, that the person at the top was looking to get something from everyone. But Jesus is the only one who came to say, I don't want nothing from you. I'm just trying to get what I have to you.
Yeah. Yes.
He says, I'm the way. Watch this now. Because at this point, they're talking about what happens after death. He says, I'm the way. If I'm trying to figure out how to get to God, he says, I'm the way to God. He said, if you're struggling to figure out what the truth is, he says, I am the truth. You're trying to understand what's true because ultimately, as there's so many messages floating around out there, and you're on your social media, and you hear people teaching things and saying things, and you watch these different talk show hosts and different people that have influence speaking of other things and other ideologies. He said, but if you're looking for truth, I'm truth. And then he says, if you wonder what happens, because all of us, as we begin to wrestle with our mortality, we wonder what happens after death. What happens to us? And many have convinced themselves that they just go to an existence of an abyss where you just float in nothingness. Let me tell you this. If that were true, why was Jesus dying to save you from something?
That's right. Preach, Pastor.
An abyss is a dark place of quietness. It's almost like solitude. It just exists. So why would he suffer so much to save us if what he was trying to save us from wasn't so bad?
Teach it.
Okay, let me give it to this way. You match the payment with the value of what you're paying for. Okay, here's what I heard the other day. I'm in the store and I was looking at some shoes, and so the young man, and I said, well, you know, these are kind of expensive. Here's what he told me. He said, listen, you get what you pay for. Wait a minute, that's a revelation. Wait a minute. If Jesus suffered so badly, what he was paid for must be a pretty big deal.
Come on.
So ultimately he says, I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I'm the life. And here's what he says that closes all the other arguments. He says, and no one can get to the Father, get to God, except through me. There's no other way. There's no side door. There's no trap door underneath. You can't come up from the bottom. You can't drop down in the parachute. He said there's only one way. You got to come through me.
That's right.
Because people are trying to get to God in all kinds of ways. They say, well, I'm spiritual. Well, the Bible never denies that there are plenty of spirits.
That's right.
In the world. You can be spiritual and be led by a spirit. But he said you should not be led by spirits. You must be led by the Spirit. The Holy Spirit.
That's right.
One way.
One way.
There's one Father, one Son, and one Spirit.
One way.
Then he declares that he's the first fruit of the resurrection. Turn back to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. We're going close there. First and foremost, slide down to verse 23. He says, but each one in his own order. Christ the first fruits, and afterwards those who Christ at his coming. He says, so first Jesus had to go. Jesus died, resurrected, to be the first one to show the way. He said, then afterwards, everyone in their own order, everyone that's going to die, because we all die at the same time. He says, everyone in their own order. Those who believe and accept Jesus Christ. That's verse 23. Now slide down to verse 51. Because then it begins to this argument to help us understand what does it mean to be resurrected. Verse 51, chapter 15, verse 51 says this, behold, I tell you a mystery. Now hear this now. Because notice this. I said everyone is contemplating death and what will happen after death. And the reality is that there are a lot of people making a lot of proclaiming a lot of things. There are those who have never made a confession of faith in Christ Jesus, never followed Jesus, never gave their heart to Jesus, never gave their life to Jesus, that their family members are declaring that, well, I'll see him again. I think they're looking down upon me. She's all right now because she's looking down. She's never made a hope and confidence in Christ. You notice Jesus said, no one can go to the Father except through me. But this person never made a confession of faith, never put a confidence in Christ Jesus, and yet they are looking down upon me. And yet Jesus says, here's the reason why this is important. Because Jesus has done everything he said he would do, and everything he declared was true.
That's right.
And if he said no man can come to the Father except by me, then we got to accept that. Here's another thing. Here's another thing that we have, because there are those who make a confession but never get in line behind Jesus. Because he says, if you want to follow me, you must deny yourself, take up your cross to follow me. There are those who make a confession but never make a submission.
Come on, Pastor.
So I never submit myself to Jesus. I make a confession.
Yes.
So because I've confessed it, but the truth of the matter is this. No, without holiness, no man will see God. I can't just live like I want to live and say I'm going to see Jesus, because he said, without holiness, no man.
No man.
President.
Yes.
CEO, billionaire, millionaire.
No man.
No man
Thou
will see God.
holiness.
No man.